Some folks might remember I did a channel shout out to a Yeonmi Park and the voice of North Korea. Now, she did a live stream last night that was about how Joe Biden betrayed the Afghan people. The only people that betrayed the Afghan people were the Afghan people. I mean, as Joe Biden said in his speech, I'm paraphrasing, there's nothing that we did not do for the Afghan people, okay? As far as making sure their military had as much physical weapons and physical training and physical stuff as needed to defend Afghanistan from the Taliban, or anyone else for that matter, okay? The sad truth is that we cannot give people the will to fight their enemies, okay? And it reminded me a lot of some of the things Che Guevara said from working with certain people that he considered to be low IQ'd. And some of the things Che Guevara would say was, and this is the thing, I'm going to post a link to interviews with soldiers on Tucker Carlson about the Afghan soldiers and their incompetency and inadequacy as soldiers compared to any real military on the face of the earth. And it reminded me quite a bit, like I said, of Che Guevara and Che Guevara's complaints about, certain people that I won't name because it'll get my video taken down, but how they would leave as soon as payday came. They would disappear and they would spend their money on women and drugs, okay? Women and alcohol, that type of thing. And it was very reminiscent of some of the things that Che Guevara said, and I will try and find links to what Che Guevara said about those people. The only problem is it's getting harder and harder to find good Che Guevara quotes because everybody wants to see him as some kind of anti-racist hero when he was really a Castilian white supremacist from Argentina. Getting in more into Yeonmi Park, it didn't really bother me that much about the Afghanistan thing. Everybody has their own views on that. If it happened under Trump, these same people would be praising Trump for pulling out. They'll be like, oh my God, Trump was smart enough to pull out before he impregnated Afghanistan. Trump was smart enough to use contraception with Afghanistan. But the thing is, with this situation that really irked me with Yeonmi Park, was when she was explaining, now, I'm not going to say my views on the vaccine. My views are probably not what a lot of people's are. But the thing is, she's whining that people need vaccine certificates to eat at restaurants, okay, or to use public transportation in New York. Last I checked, you did not have an inalienable right to eat at a restaurant or an inalienable right to use public transport as defined in the Bill of Rights. But even if you did, we are still in a state of national emergency because of a freaking global pandemic. Now, a lot of people have encouraged me to run for office of some kind and all that. I would get eradicated. I would get annihilated running for public office due to my past. But the thing is, this is what you need to understand. If I was in charge of this country, number one, I would have gotten a second term unlike Donald Trump. And number two, I would have immediately closed down all incoming travel from all countries. I would have locked down the entire country except for shipping. Okay, and I would have taken measures to sterilize things that came into the country, and I would reduce non-essential things coming in from other countries, and I would have used the military, the Defense Production Act to ramp up the manufacture of N95s and ramp up the production of the necessities that we need to protect ourselves from COVID-19, and I would have still closed down all travel from all other countries. Now, I want to remind people I'm not a doctor or a physician or any kind of medical professional, but I think common sense says that if there's a new strain of a virus that you're afraid of, such as the Delta strain, again, I'm not a doctor, but the thing is, the Delta strain originated in India. Why are we allowing Indians to come into the United States? I don't have anything against Indian people. But the thing is, we are at a state of a national emergency due to a global pandemic, okay? I don't think that it's asking too much of people to show that they've been vaccinated before they eat in a restaurant. If I were in charge of the country, you wouldn't be eating at a restaurant. It's not essential to eat at a restaurant. The only way restaurants would be able to serve food would be direct delivery to someone's home. I would not allow for people to go in to a place. I would be fining people. If people were in public without wearing an N95 mask, which ideally would have been provided by the government, if people were in public not wearing an N95 mask, they would be fined $500, just like not wearing a seatbelt. I would do everything I could to stop the spread of the virus, okay? Everything I could within the confines of the law in the United States of America. To hear somebody from North Korea whine that the United States is a police state because we're asking for proof of vaccination before people mingle in the public, I find to be very, very insulting. And if she doesn't like it in the United States, why did she bother coming here? The other thing is, it's very infuriating, actually. It's very infuriating to have somebody from a country like North Korea come here and whine that we're a police state because of the measures that we have to take during a global pandemic. And remind you, these are half measures. These are not adequate measures. I told you the measures I would take if I were in charge of the country. Okay? I would have stopped all travel into the country, and I would have systematically exported everyone in this country. I would have repatriated everybody in this country that doesn't belong here. Okay? And I would have closed down everything except for essential things that need to be shipped into the United States, and those things would be sterilized before they came in. I would have locked down the whole country. I would have used martial law to the fullest extent possible. I would have implemented the Defense Production Act to make sure we had the things that we need. I would have made sure that we no longer ever depended on a foreign country for pharmaceuticals or medical necessities ever again. None of this has happened under Trump or Biden. But to hear somebody like Yeonmi Park complain that we're a police state when she fled North Korea and comparing the United States to China is a joke. It's a freaking joke. And the thing is, it's very, very ridiculous. I thought it was hilarious, though, because she doesn't claim to be a worldly person because she grew up in North Korea, but like on her Instagram, she's explaining that she never even knew Iraqis existed. Only in America could she be with an Iraqi man. It's like, this is absolutely absurd. That, people coddle these people. I don't give a damn. I do give a shout out to Yeonmi Park. I do encourage people to watch her channel. I do think what she's doing is interesting. But if she's going to overreact to the mild measures being taken by the United States to stifle the spread of a global pandemic, the very, very minor inconveniences, okay, that are being implemented to stop the spread of this virus, and she's going to compare the United States to an authoritarian dictatorship because we don't want everybody dying of COVID-19, well then, as far as I'm concerned, how can you trust a goddamn thing she says about North Korea? And there are differing stories from people in North Korea. I keep asking her to tell me more about Joe Dresnok, the U.S. soldier that defected to North Korea. She won't do it. While she was making this video, she shut up pretty quickly when she was complaining about how, they're asking for vaccination card. And I reminded her, we're in the middle of a global pandemic. And then the idea that Joe Biden betrayed Afghanistan is a frickin' joke. The people that betrayed Afghanistan are the Afghan people. And frankly, I don't think, as many of them as we don't need to let in the country, I don't think we should. I think we should let in all the women and all the children that are provably not terrorists that could be assimilated into the United States. But any man or male child, why the hell are we going to let them in the country? So they can attack us in 10 years? Like a lot of these these so-called domestic homegrown terrorists that are first-generation Americans whose parents came here from Bosnia or Afghanistan or Iraq or one of these countries, like the people, the San Bernardino couple that was blowing away people after their baby shower. They started blowing away people. I'll see if I can find a link to that and put it in the description. My point is to compare the United States to a police state, or to say that Joe Biden betrayed the Afghans when the only people that betrayed the Afghans were the Afghans themselves, is absolutely, absolutely infuriating to me as an American. And that's all for this video.